Now back to Sin City and My Guys in the Desert with the legend Brent Musburger, live on the Vegas Stats and Information Network, SiriusXM Channel 204, and vsin.com.
My Guys in the Desert, live from the South Point Hotel Casino. Vinny, Magliulo, Ron Flatter, Mike Palm from the D, and we are joined by. Okay, we took a little bit of a poll here. We took a little poll. We put some action out. Errol Krupiarz. Did I say it right?
To be honest with you guys, and yes, you.
All right, so
very first try, which is very impressive.
Outstanding. Well,
that rarely ever happens.
Well,
so.
I just know not that I'm going to brag, Errol, but I was the 2-1 favorite. But let me ask you this, Errol. I'm looking at your bio here, and we appreciate you joining us from Caesars. You are the odds maker over there, but you were at Bleacher Report before. Talk a little bit. Tell me about your transition from writing about and covering the NBA, primarily the Clippers, I believe. Is that correct?
Right. Yeah.
And now odds maker.
Bleacher Report for a couple seasons.
Okay.
Yep. And I was in LA for years, and then I moved to Vegas. And basketball is my life. I love basketball. It's my passion. So somehow I found my way into Caesars, and now I'm moving on to NBA. It's a dream come true, really.
Well, good for you, and congratulations, and best of luck to you over there. Let's talk a little bit about the NBA. Obviously, we've got a couple of games tonight, and these are games where all of these games, but the 2 tonight, the 2 tomorrow, all these series tied at 2-2. Sixers and Raptors tonight. Here at the South Point, we're seeing some Sixers action.
Celtics Bucks is 3-1. Bucks is 3-1.
Sorry, yeah. Okay, sorry. That's right, 3-1. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong stat here. Thank you. Well, that's why you're the odds maker, see, and I'm just. Let me ask you this, Errol.
I got you, Ron. Don't worry.
Tonight's game, we've got the Sixers getting the action here at South Point. We now sit at 6 on the Raptors after an opener of 6.5. Where are you at with the game, and what are you seeing in terms of action over at your place?
Same as Caesars. Philly's gotten most of the love from bettors as a 6-point underdog. And I think the public might be onto something here. Embiid's listed as probable, but, he's going to be out there at Game 5. And I see this one coming down at the last couple possessions. And it's going to be a close one. So Philly +6 might be a good play. And in the late game, we have Denver -5 at home. And that's been the choice for bettors so far today.
All right.
So Philly and Denver is where most of the money is at.
And 213.5 right around there, so a little bit of two-way action on the total there, but more over money coming in on the 76ers and Raptors?
Correct, yep. Same with us.
Let me ask you this. In terms of these two series prices, Errol, have you got any liabilities or any of these teams that got more favor from the bettors from the series price and in the futures than the others?
Sure. Well, with the 4 second-round series happening right now, our biggest result is in the Bucks-Celtics series. We opened Boston as a +240 underdog, and we saw a lot of bets come in right away on the Celtics by both the sharps and a lot of square money, too. And then even after Game 1, which Boston won, after we adjusted the price, we kept booking more Celtics money. Mm-hmm. Maybe because after Game 1, Paul Pierce said the series was over, and everyone believed him. But, of course, Milwaukee has won 3 games in a row since then, so we're pretty happy about that. As far as why people have been betting Boston for the series, I don't get it. Maybe because the Celtics are a brand name, a nationally known and recognized team over the years, and Milwaukee not so much. But, I don't know. I'll wager on anything under the sun, but I'm not going to bet $1 against Giannis anytime soon, I'll tell you that. Mm-hmm. And as far as the other series, the Nuggets have been getting a lot of backing from bettors, not just in this round, but for our futures markets. Our biggest liability for both Western Conference and the championship would be Denver. So we would be happy to see Portland knock them out here in round 2. That would eliminate a lot of liability we're holding on that team right now.
So we opened the Bucks at 9.5. It sits at 9 now. I mean, obviously a little bit of an anticipation. Did you think going into the series that Boston would be the better road team? Are you surprised at what you've seen out of the Bucks, particularly when they went up to Boston?
Well, the first game was really the biggest surprise to see Boston manhandle Milwaukee like that. And, and then since then it's been all Milwaukee. But back to the futures for a minute. One thing that's surprising to me in terms of winning the title, our best result would actually be the Warriors winning it all. I don't know what the story is with Jimmy at South Point, but Golden State is the only team that would be a 6-figure win for us, which most people would think the house would be rooting against the Warriors, but it's actually best case scenario for us. And we've had a very competitive number for Warriors to win the title all year long. It's been right there with, and even slightly better than almost all the books in town. And the main reason why we haven't gotten a lot of Warriors title money, I think, is because even if Golden State makes it to the finals, you have these powerhouses in the East now, 4 of them really. There's no LeBron anymore, but you have guys like Embiid and Philly, Kawhi, and now Giannis, who would be really difficult matchups for Golden State, and that's only if the Warriors make it past the Rockets here, and then Denver, Portland in the next round. So Golden State's path to the title, I think, is more difficult than ever, but we're rooting them on.
Speaking with Errol Krupiarz from Caesars Palace as the odds maker over there. Errol, let me ask you this. In terms of the Warriors-Rockets and that Game 5 tomorrow, we've seen so far pretty substantial action come in on the Warriors at home. Maybe to right things here. Obviously been a home court series so far. Warriors open 5.5 here at the South Point, now sitting as 6-point favorites. How's it come in over there? And by the way, in terms of the futures here, we're in pretty good shape. But they were short, and whenever you have, as you know, when you have a short price team, when they're the favorites, usually there's not as much liability as there would be with a long shot.
Sure. As far as the game tomorrow, it's been mostly Warriors money so far. Game 5 at home, it's 2-2. I guess people are thinking that the Warriors are going to try and really put a stranglehold on the series and hold down home court. But most of the action will be coming in tomorrow. So by the time the game tips off tomorrow, everything can be completely different.
Errol, I want to ask you
one thing I want.
Oh, go ahead.
Sure, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. One thing I want to mention that we like to offer different props. Across all sports, mostly for our casual bettors to give them more options, some unique things to make watching the game more fun. And earlier in the season when Harden was on that scoring binge, we came up with will James Harden score 60 points in a game this season? And we got 2-way action. It was evenly bet, which is a good thing. And 3 or 4 games later, he dropped 61 at Madison Square Garden against the Knicks. And that was the end of that. And during SportsCenter that night, Neil Everett actually gave us a shout-out and mentioned the Harden prop on TV as he was doing highlights of the game, which was pretty neat. But today we focused on the Philly-Toronto game. We have a few player versus player matchups. One of them is Ben Simmons, -1 points, rebounds, and assists versus Kyle Lowry, points, rebounds, and assists. And Kawhi Leonard, points and rebounds, -8 against Joel Embiid, points and rebounds. And if you want to root for or against Jimmy Butler, you could bet over or under 32.5 points, rebounds, and assists. And if you like three-point shooting, you could bet over 21.5 total three-pointers made. Or if you hate three-point shooting, like Greg Popovich, you could bet under 21.5. Of course, all these betting props are live animals, and the numbers are subject to change before tip-off.
Well, good. Neil Everett's a fan of the show. He listens to us during his commute. He's probably listening right now. We've had him in studio, and we enjoy the fact that when he does come on and that he does listen. I want to take you back, if we could, to your time in Los Angeles when you were covering the Clippers, and obviously you've seen things come around now where the Clippers, obviously the better team in Los Angeles. What do you anticipate, having had a front row seat there, and watching the Clippers as they improve now? I mean, obviously, we think the Lakers are going to be very involved with in the free agent market during the offseason, and they look to improve too. What's your take on what's happening in Los Angeles these days between the Clippers and the Lakers?
Well, I think the Clippers are definitely heading in the right direction. They got a mix of vets. Gallinari's over there; he's kind of the leader of the team, and then they got young guys on the come up. Harrell, their center, is a force at the post. They got a point guard from Kentucky, Alexander, who had a really good rookie season, and of course, everything revolves around Kawhi making his decision next year. And if I'm Kawhi, I'm thinking I got a pretty good set of players to build around here and compete for years to come. So the Clippers have had a down past couple of years before this year, and the breaking up of Lob City was hurtful, but it looks like they're back on the come up, and Clippers fans have a lot to be excited about.
Outstanding. Errol Krupiarz, oddsmaker from Caesars Palace. We appreciate you joining us today, and we'll look forward to seeing you and speaking with you down the road.
Awesome. Yeah, I had fun. I look forward to doing it again next week.
All right, Errol. Take care. When we come back, my guys in the desert, Mike Palm, Ron Flatter, and Vinny Magliulo, myself, will talk baseball when we come back. My guys in the desert.
It's My Guys in
XM 204.
It's My Guys in the Desert with Brent Musburger, only on the Vegas Stats and Information Network. Keep up to date with everything in the world of sports gaming by going online at vsin.com.
If you didn't catch VSiN last week, here's some of what you missed.
And they ran an op-ed asking if Holzhauer was a menace to the show. If he's the worst thing that Jeff